or to be worse because of those lawless and uncertain thoughts imagine power.
Happy thou art,
It is too horrible.
for what thou hast not.
Is a play about rulers, in a way, and so I'm not thinking of kings, I'm thinking of rulers, as in things that you measure things with. So in that sense, it is a kind of pun, it's a play about people who govern as well, it's a play about being judged and judging. And the reason that we're starting off in this building is that this is a remarkable first version of what was called...
Which is the Panopticon?
The Panopticon, yes. And the Panopticon has surfaced very, very much in literary theory by a French philosopher called Michel Foucault, who argued that the way in which modern government of society works is that instead of executing people in public executions, instead modern prison services and modern surveillance techniques made people police themselves because they didn't know when they were being watched. And this prison was a material format, or is a material format, of that principle. The prison wouldn't originally have been as it is now because all the blocking out that you've got in between, the walls in between you and me, wouldn't have been there. You would have just had the bars. So you, in these cells, you would have been absolutely visible to me as the governor, and the governor would have stood here and could have watched anybody, but you would not have been able to know whether you were being watched or not at any given moment by him, or well, it would have been him, sitting in his command position back there. So he could have seen everything, and this building goes up 4 floors as well, so in a minute I'm going to get to come out and have a look at the rest of it and see how tall it is. But the culture of being watched all the time is very much one that characterises the Vienna of Measure for Measure. It's a play about being watched and about being judged.
I saw him arrested, saw him carried away.
Why dost thou show me thus to the world?
Look into Master Wroth.
Look you, the warrant's come.
Not been dead, though it has slept. Now 'tis away, takes note of what is done.
My business in the States made me a looker on here in Vienna, where I have seen corruption boil and boil. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know.
Bring me to hear them speak, where I may be concealed.
I have overheard what hath passed between you and your sister.
Come, sir, I know what I know.
O my dread lord, I should be guiltier than my guiltiness. To think I can be undiscerning, when I perceive your grace like power divine, hath looked upon my essence.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.
That's Lucio talking back to the Duke. So although the Duke thinks he's in charge, watching everybody, he's also being watched by other subjects, by his own subjects. So in that sense, they're watching him, but he, a bit like Hamlet, is the observed of all observers. He's the one whom everybody is watching too, even though he's supposedly absent. I really liked...
Go to your heart.
I
like that number 8.
Yes,
Go to your
number
heart,
8.
not there.
Yes.
And ask your heart what it does know.
Yes. So that's a great example. Number 8 is a great example of that self-policing, isn't it? You're not. Nobody else is going to tell you what to do your homework or to go and do the preparation for the next day. You've got to police yourself. You've got to make sure that you're behaving yourself. And this building was exactly designed to encourage that kind of activity. And although Bentham, the man who supposedly invented the Panopticon, the date for that Foucault gives is 1830, this building is actually older than that. This is a kind of prototype, so you're in the earliest Panopticon in the country, probably in the world. It's special.
The request to give me your hand is very common between men as a symbol of bonding. However, between men and women, the gesture is markedly different, as women's hands are to be given by men. Members of the workshop stage the masculine handshake of authority between Angelo and the Duke in Act 1, Scene 1, in contrast with the act of betrothal in Act 5, Scene 1, where the Duke requests Isabella's hand. Members of the workshop were invited to direct their own ending to the play by choosing to take the Duke's hand or to refuse it.
My case may not nor need you on my honour has to do with any scruple. Your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or qualify the laws which your soul seems good. Give me a hand, and I'll prithee away. I love the people, but do not like to stage me to their eyes, nor do I think a man of safe discretion that does affect it. Once more, fare you well. And then Duke comes out. And there's a horrible moment, it's all falling apart. And so although we're not using the court part of Charlotte Hall for that scene, but we're on the steps in the middle of this very large, quite overpowering room, and I'm at the bottom of the steps. And the Duke is about 8 foot tall, anyway, is at the top of the steps. So I have to do the whole speech like that. And it feels horrible. Because of that sense, because there's so much height and weight around you, it just feels like everything's... And with that feeling of, I've been caught and there is nothing I can do. There is nothing I can do to expiate my guilt. All the things I was thinking before I came in here, before I started trying to cover my tracks, are back in his head completely. And so you just feel completely worthless, minuscule, pathetic, tiny, with this huge space around you and this enormous man judging you. What?
He is enormous.
He's huge.
Yes. And you're very much exposed on those steps. It's a very kind of open area, isn't it?
Exactly. So I know I can't retreat because there's something solid behind me, but then there's just this.
And staring.
Oh yeah, they're great. But also we're using the audience as the public, because it's supposed to be a public scene. So we've acknowledged the audience already, all of us have taken them in and spoken at them, so it's not just a private, a few people judging you, the whole of Vienna.
And it does feel like everyone in the room is going, good.
We will also look at one of your lines, Rachel. Lucio's how come, sir, I know what I know.
Oh, that's in the sound.
Yeah, and he sees through the Duke, Lucio.
Doesn't he?
He sees through the Duke's attempt to know everything, almost. He kind of undercuts the Duke.
In our version, I don't know.
You don't know who he is?
I don't know who he is, no. But I like to push his buttons and tease him, definitely, and try and get
him to say things and do things that he maybe otherwise wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But that's Lucio all over. He's a constant
gesture.
He can wind someone up, he'll get in there. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. He's a real kind of court jester.
He's a pain in the ass.
But I think Lucio also has some of the most honest moments in the play. Like, he's this bawdy character all the way through, who I've got this sort of relationship with, and he comes in and like, ooh, this is awkward, there's a really upset looking girl. But it's just the most beautiful, but I think it's one of the most honest lines in the play, when he says,
I'm really sorry. I liked you. I loved your brother. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, but it's really genuine. It's like, it's this beautiful moment, and I think that's the beauty of the clown character in all of the Shakespeare, is that they make you laugh, and then they have this moment where they absolutely tell it like it is.
There's a great line in King Lear where Goneril says, jesters do oft prove prophets. You know, that idea that he's the fool, he's the wise person.
Yeah. Well, he's the most honest person in the play, in an odd sort of way.
He's an Aeschylus.
There's things also in how Lucio talks to his fellow, like in your first scene together.
Pale virgin.
Well, it's not necessarily always appropriate.
No, it's usually inappropriate.
But I said that there's a real sort of, there's an honesty. I mean, I know you were saying that from both the same power you have, and he's talking about sex, but also he's the one who really recognises how the world works.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got the
Go
line.
and flirt with him.
Let him learn to know
get
when
gagging
men
for
sue
you.
and give like gods, but when they weep and call their petitions for street as they themselves know.
And that's straight away for me that Lucio puts Isabella in this hideous position.
So we get to this moment in the play where Claudio is under sentence here, and then the Duke goes in and speaks to him and prepares him for death, really, isn't it, at that point? So the speeches in this space should give, I hope, a kind of resonance to what is happening and what exactly is at stake. You know? So
be absolute for death. Either death or life shall thereby be the sweeter. The reason thus of life, if I do lose thee, I do lose a thing that none but fools would keep. A breath thou art. Thou art not thyself, for thou existst on many 1,000 grains that issue out of dust. Happy thou art not, for what thou hast not, still thou strivest to get, and what thou hast, forgettest. Thou art certain, for thy complexion shifts to strange effects after the moon. If thou art rich, thou art poor, for like an ass whose back with ingots bows, thou bearest thy heavy riches, but a journey, and death unloads thee. And when thou art old and rich, thou hast neither heat, affection, limb, nor beauty, to make thy riches pleasant. What's yet in this that bears the name of life? Yet in this life lie hid more 1,000 deaths. Yet death we fear. That makes these odds all even.
But to die, and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, this sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clot, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in the viewless winds, and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, or to be worse than worst, of those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine how long. 'Tis too horrible, the weariest and most loathed worldly life, that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature, is a paradise to what we fear a death.